Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Buffalo Bills franchise mode series, and today it's time to begin a new season. The last episode was a little bit of a marathon. We, of course, went through the playoffs, didn't exactly get the desired outcome that we wanted. We also went through a draft that I still feel like went relatively well, but of course, as always, there have been quite a few changes to this roster that we need to get to before we begin this new season. So I will showcase to you every single change. Now, as far as some of these signings, I mean, mainly it was just testing out who the depth signings were going to be. This is the big section here, though. And we start off with the biggest trade of them all. We have sent our first-round pick, Keelan Cole and Shaq Lawson, to Detroit for Le'Leon Kouangio, who was the wide receiver that the Lions once traded up to draft that we were keeping our eye on. Yes, I tried to get Stover. It didn't happen. Here's the thought behind this. Shaq Lawson had to go. There wasn't a spot for him anymore. And Keelan Cole is making a little bit too much money. So the thought was, okay, we use Shaq Lawson and Keelan Cole to go out and get a wide receiver boost. We weren't going to get that big of a boost at wide receiver without using a draft pick, and unfortunately it came down to our first-round pick. I'll show you the draft pick situation, though, shortly. We end up getting Kouangio. Not sure how people will feel about this. You'll see his overall and everything at the time. But yeah, we make another big splash 2 seasons in a row to go out and get a major game changer at wide receiver. We also traded quarterback Brian Diaz, Tyron Sim, and Ellis Hollier to the Chicago Bears for a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Of course, we had a couple of wide receivers that we drafted that we have moved over to tight end. I really liked Hollier, but it kind of made sense to get rid of him to give someone else with a bit higher of a ceiling and opportunity. And of course, Brian Diaz could go, as our backup quarterback situation is relatively interesting. We also made a minor trade. I don't even remember. I don't even remember this deal with the Patriots. I don't. Oh, it was back at the draft. That's why. That would make sense. So those are the big moves. The biggest move, acquiring Kouangio from the Detroit Lions. Let's take a look at what this roster is this season. So quarterback, it's still the Hanson Erickson show, but we do have Darren Oliveira as the backup. He'll more than likely be dealt next year. Of course, Hanson Erickson made it up to star development at 22 years old, which is amazing. Darren Oliveira, who dropped from an early first round projected to the second round, still looking pretty good. Quick development at 22. We'll see what he does, but more than likely we'll be able to use him along with some of our draft picks to go out and get back into the first round in next year's draft. We do have the 2 second-round picks, 3 third-round picks, and 3 fourth-round picks, so we have the ability to trade up back into the first round one way or another. Running back-wise, the situation is exactly the same. Kareem Hunt, Drico and Kang, and Sherrard Reynolds. Fullback-wise, Jamon McCray getting ready for his second season. And then we get to the wide receiver core, which is very interesting. We have Davante Adams, of course, now at 29, still a 92. And then we have Kouangio. Of course, he's 22, 84 overall, superstar development. We gave up someone who wasn't going to fit on this team as a defensive end. We gave up a wide receiver who was older and of lesser value, and a first-round pick for a superstar wide receiver. You know, is it a little bit cheap? Perhaps. But Kouangio is going to be the goddamn man. So we already have our built-in Davante Adams replacement when he starts to decline. Cooper Kupp is still here as well. Von Key, Keaston Savage, who we just drafted, and Jamal Hardy, who's not that great but is an excellent kick returner, are all here as well. Von Key is actually going to be 5th in the depth chart behind Savage, who we're going to try to develop. Tight end-wise, Eric Ebron's still here. We now have Rico Neal and Morris Pittman, 2 of the taller wide receivers that we have moved over to tight end, so you can see why I moved on from Hollier. And the offensive line is looking better than it's ever looked. We have Brenton Weeks at the starting left tackle spot, with Deion Hawkins and rookie Derek Conley, who has quick development, so he's a pretty strong depth option. He's fucking massive as well. So really liking the depth there. Left guard, we have Lewis Bush, who we just drafted as well, quick development at 23 years old with Roman Genther as the depth option. Starting center is Warren Leckie, who still has quick development as well. 2nd-year pro with Ashley Foster one of the guys we just drafted as well for the depth option. Right guard, Michael Dieter, who never quite developed into an amazing player, but still, we've seen some of the other teams' offensive lines throughout the past couple of years. He's good. John Miller as well, who we ended up signing as a depth option. And then at right tackle, Grant Stemke with Dalton Tate. So we don't have a major game-changing offensive lineman like we had seen in Jacksonville, for example, with their offensive line. But the offensive line for us is very well-rounded. There aren't really any noticeable weak links. I'm really liking the way it looks. And then we get to the defensive side of things. At left end, it's going to be Denard Keaho, who we just drafted. Of course, looking like an absolute monster. Malcolm Worrell and Lucas Knott are also still signed as depth options. Starting right end is still going to be Dante Fowler and Joe Jackson. Jackson, unfortunately, really hasn't developed as well as he had for me in other franchise runs, but he's still a very strong depth option. And then we get to the starting defensive tackle spot. It is going to be Clayton Malone as the number 1 with that star development. Jonathan Allen will be the second option, and then Denard Buckley is still here. So you can kind of see where there really wasn't room for Shaq Lawson. He would have had to have taken a spot from Keaho or just been a depth option, and it made more sense to use him to free up money to go out and get Kawangio. We move over to linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds is going to be the starting outside linebacker on the left-hand side there. Nate Potter's still the backup middle linebacker. Shazier's still here. And Angelo Riley, who we just drafted. He's much better as an outside linebacker, but we've moved him over to the middle. I'm tempted to switch Tremaine Edmonds. Edmonds has to develop this season. We need an overall point, and it's likely, but we need an overall point or two bit of development. He's down to normal, though. So I think in due time, he's going to be moved out. Angelo Riley will be moved out to that other outside spot. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson still there, Paul Ripkowski, and Walter Harvey, who we just drafted. Corner situation, exactly the same. Tre'Davious White, Artie Burns, not exactly the same, but Mike Hilton's there. Cordell Turner and Morgan Pete. Safety-wise, now this is exactly the same. We have Poyer, Bradford, and Bryant Pyle. Micah Hyde with Marcus Simon. Jake Elliott, your kicker, and Rigoberto Sanchez, the punter. That is the team. We have the highest rated squad that we have had yet. 87 rated. 87 offense, 91 defense. I'm excited to see what we can do this season. Fingers crossed, of course, we avoid any injury trouble throughout the preseason. And already we get a player upgrade after just one preseason game. It's Warren Leckie. So there we go. The offensive line is going to be that much better. We'll make him better in the power game. He's very well-rounded, which is nice. So I'm excited to see how this goes. As well, we had coaching upgrades, which is very much going to help us throughout this season. I'll get you a look now at McDermott's, just in terms of the upgrade packages that he had. So right now we have the offensive line, defensive line. I mean, the training boosts right now are out of control, and then obviously we're going to look to save up for that quarterback boost. That was my one decision, kind of well-round the training boost or go pretty much all out for the quarterback boost, and I went for the well-rounded approach. And actually, one thing I do need to check here, because the one thing that I let slip was our stadium boosts. Let me double-check these prices here. So I bumped everything up by one range. I'm pretty much going to have to drop it all back down. I want the max good value for everything. And I am pretty much having to undo every single change I had made. I still had it exactly where I wanted it. We just weren't bringing in a ton of money. And I think it's because of our lack of concessions. We only have level 1. So I'm going to need to pay attention to that a little bit more throughout this season. That said, let's continue onward. We will get into the thick of things for this season. I'm obviously excited to see what we can do. Like I said, it's the best team that we have had yet. And wow, Kawangio already improved. That's awesome. That is awesome. Right now, wow, he's well-rounded with everything. What ratings do you need bumped up? Deep route. Okay, that's the target. He's great at basically everything else already. Carrying, not so much. Yeah, we need to make him better as a deep route receiver. Especially, too. I mean, he's 6'6", 234. Between him and Stover, thank God I at least get my hands on Kawangio. And I don't know. I was tempted to say maybe Davante Adams for Stover. But I held off on that. But Kawangio has the chance to be a beast. We'll make him better as a deep threat. He's up to an 85 already. So, and there we go. Deep routes improved. Releases improved. Those are the two main attributes that we needed to see go up in that regard. Last preseason game is against New Orleans. And we can't make it through without an injury. And thankfully, it's not a major injury. It's not a starter. Dion Dawkins, our backup left tackle, goes down for 6 weeks. So that's, Dion, I like you. You're still on the team. You've been here for the entire run so far, but it's not the worst case scenario. So our roster is set up. We are good to go. A new season begins. We started off in Baltimore. Let's get down to it. Like I said, oh my God, 87 versus 73. This should be a massacre. Sunday primetime, this should be a massacre. I know I've said it a lot, but it's true. I'm very, very excited to see what this team can do. We're in the best shape that we've been in throughout this entire run thus far. We're coming off a pretty good draft. Of course, free agency-wise, we weren't able to do as much, but we made things happen in the draft, bringing in some game changers, hopefully, especially on the offensive line. I can't wait to get things started here. This is the first year where I'm thinking, hey, we might be able to really do something here. And if Hansen Erickson continues to develop the way that he has thus far, this could be a very special year for us. But we have to take it one game at a time. The season begins in Baltimore, and we give up the opening touchdown. 7-0 Ravens at the end of the first quarter. Still got plenty of time, but not what we were hoping for. There we go. We bounce back. 7-all, 14-7, and that is your score at halftime. So there we go. A much stronger effort. It ended up being... what was it? Oh, it was 3rd and 28. Okay, we ended up punting. I don't know why it says by Mike Hilton. What ended up happening here? We had a 1-yard Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown and followed that up with a 26-yard receiving touchdown. So Kareem Hunt right now, our major difference maker, certainly was that in the second. As we go through the third, Baltimore starts off with a field goal. We bounce back with a touchdown, 21-10, as we head to the fourth. Not bad. Not bad at all. 51-yard field goal for Justin Tucker. Look at how many times Kareem Hunt's name pops up. Kawangio gets his first touchdown as a Bill, 8-yard reception from Hansen Erickson. So there we go, the new boy already on the board as we force a very quick 4-and-out. They went for it on 4th and 5, so an impressive stop there from our defense. We'll see if the offense can get anything going. They can't either. 11 minutes left. We'll still keep an eye on this. If they score here, they're going to be right back into it, and they can't either. A defensive showdown at the start of the fourth quarter. Can we get on the board? Yes, we can. It's only a field goal, but that'll do it. 1:32 to go. We wasted a lot of time on that drive. 30-yard field goal for Elliott. That's it. This game is over. And there you go. 24-10 is your final score. We got off to a little bit of a slow start. It wasn't a dominating performance like you'd kind of expect for a team to pull off, as we have a 14-point overall advantage on them. Clayton Malone, your player of the game, 3 sacks alone. Like I said, he was our starting defensive tackle, and I'm glad that he is. As Foley, by the way, one of the guys in that draft alongside Hansen Erickson. I think we may have had the steal of that draft, man. Taking Hansen Erickson, just hoping for a half-decent backup. Just like that, he's our starter. 21 of 28, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Hansen Erickson, man, he has the chance to be something special. Kareem Hunt, 71 yards on 25 carries with a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Kawangio led the way. 87 yards on 8 receptions with a touchdown. Kareem Hunt only had 1 reception, but 26 yards and a touchdown. Pittsburgh beat New England 31-0, by the way. Very sad. We did give up 3 sacks that game, 2 from the rookie Bush and 1 from Stemke, so hopefully the offensive line can tighten up. Tre'Davious White led the way defensively. 3 sacks from Malone. My God, we shredded their offensive line. Fowler with 2 sacks, 1.5 for Keaho, and a half sack for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. No picks, but still a dominating effort in terms of our defensive line. And I'm feeling good. Might not have been the most dominating performance, but we got the win like we should have. 1-0 start to the season. Week 2, though, it's already a big-time matchup. I mean, Week 2 against Houston, and then Week 3 against Miami, bye week, and then another division rival in the Jets. not exactly the easiest schedule to start things off. We have upgrade points already. It's Micah Hyde. Oh my God, as if he needed to get any better. Micah, where do you struggle? Tackling, pursuit, block shedding. If we make you better as run support, that would help. So go ahead and get that improvement there. 4 attributes: hit, power, pursuit, tackling, and zone. Beautiful. Beautiful. And for the record, too, because I know some people have been like, oh my God, you're getting so many developments, so much in terms of development. I haven't changed anything. I held off on changing anything in terms of XP sliders. It's all still at 100. There was that discussion early on as far as maybe making these changes. I haven't. We've left it the same, and it's worked out for us, at least lately. Week 2 against Houston. Oh boy, this is our first big challenge. A lot of this optimism could go away. Only a 3 overall point advantage. This is going to test the optimism for sure. This is going to be a tough one. Our first big challenge this year, but it was a very, very impressive start to this season. And if Trayvon Mullen, he had a great first game, but not the highest ratings. If that's their best corner with the double threat, really the triple threat that we have. Think about that. Cooper Kupp is our 3rd wide receiver now. That's a drastic change for us. We can't say that Hanson Erickson doesn't have any talent around him. The offensive line is very strong. The wide receiver threats, the tight end threats, Kareem Hunt, we're looking good. But now, can we overcome a tough challenge to start the year? So the first quarter we go. We get the opening 3 points, and the only 3 points of the game thus far. I don't really need to see how long the field goal is. It's fine. Let's get to halftime. Let's see if we can hold on here. 10-0. Houston battles back with a touchdown of their own. 17-7, though. 17-7, a late touchdown for us there. And that is a strong lead. You know what? Here, I'm going to take a look. Ended up being a 48-yarder for Elliott. From there, just a couple of 3-and-outs. Micah Hyde with an interception leads to a 6-yard touchdown pass to Kawangio. Tremendous. 2 games, 2 touchdowns. They bounce back with a 4-yard touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. And then it was, again, a quick 3-and-out. It was another interception, Tre'Davious White. And that led to a 3-yard touchdown pass, his first of his career, to Rico Neal after a 20-yard reception for Kawangio. So very strong start for our defense. 2 interceptions thrown for Houston. And we'll see if our defense can keep up that pressure. The defense last year was our Achilles heel, really. Both teams with a field goal, and we respond with another late touchdown. There we go. So it was a 48-yarder for Jake Elliott. They follow up with a 45 for Malcolm Havenstein. And that leads to a 3-yard touchdown pass to Davante Adams. A couple of big plays there. 21 yards for Ebron, 25 yards for Adams. 27-10. Heading into the fourth quarter, Houston, though, starts off strong with a very quick touchdown. It's going to put the pressure on here. Let's see if our offense can respond. They do. 34-17. Beautiful. Ended up being a 2-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. 7:54 to go, 34-17, and we forced a punt. Actually, it might have been a 4th down stop. It was a 4th down stop. On 4th and 1, McCaffrey shut down. Any points here would pretty much end it. There we go. 20-point game, 37-17. This one is all but over. 33-yard field goal for Elliott. We'll see, though, if Houston has a late charge. They do get on the board. 37-24. We get the onside kick back, though, and that will pretty much seal the deal. 8-yard touchdown for Will Fuller, but that will do it. We actually score late. 45-24 is your final. Your Bills move to 2-0 on the season. A tremendous start for us. I actually want to find out who scored that late touchdown. It'd be off score summary, would it not be? Yeah. Whoops. Scoring summary. It ended up being a pick 6 for Tre'Davious White. There you go. So at least 3 interceptions in this game for us today. Indeed, 3 interceptions to Deshaun Watson. Not a strong game. Erickson, though, 24 of 36, 264 yards with 3 touchdowns. A great start for the youngster. Rushing-wise, not receiving-wise, Kareem Hunt, 24 attempts, 101 yards with a touchdown. Not bad. Receiving-wise, Ebron led the way in terms of yardage, but touchdowns for Kawangio, Davante Adams, and Rico Neal. Blocking-wise, only 1 sack allowed by Michael Dieter. And defensively, Micah Hyde led the way in tackles. No sacks that game, but 3 interceptions, 2 for White and 1 for Hyde. And then kicking-wise, Jake Elliott, a perfect 3 for 3. 45-24 is your final. I think Houston just got a bit of a reality check there. We've struggled against them. There we go. Hanson Erickson will be up to an 80. I think they got a bit of a reality check there as, we've struggled against them for the majority of this series so far. Maybe not anymore. So let's see here. Deep accuracy. I mean, in fairness, he needs to get better at everything. Deep accuracy in general, though, needs to go up. And strong arm would certainly help that. So let's do that. Make him less of a scrambler. He has that decent foundation. Only 1 point plus 2 to awareness. That's a bit disappointing. It's actually not going to go up to an 80 because of that. It was too low. So he gets some improvement, but that's actually the weakest improvement I've seen for any player before. But regardless, we're 2-0 on the season. Weekly awards, this has to be Micah Hyde as defensive player, right? No, it was Tre'Davious White. Oh, that's right. He was the one with 2 picks. I forgot about that. Micah Hyde led the way in tackles. We have another upgrade. It's Joe Jackson. There we go. I talked about him not exactly improving. He changes that. We'll make him better as a power rusher. And hopefully he starts to improve with the extra XP that'll be coming his way. As who is ready to negotiate? It is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Jake Elliott. Okay, now in terms of money to spend, we got plenty of cap room after some of the guys that we've moved on from. Getting Gardner-Johnson back is going to be huge for us, and he wants more money. Jake Elliott, I mean, we need a strong kicker. That's not a bad deal for us if he's willing to take it. No, okay, so both are looking for a little bit more money, which honestly isn't all that surprising. And in terms of scouting, we will get into it. Number 1 player on the big board is going to be Joey McClam, a running back. Not bad. We have secondary as our specialty right now in terms of scouting, so that's what we'll start off with. Shout out to Duncan Campion, the quarterback. So we'll start with corners, which to be honest, it might not be the worst idea with Jordan Poyer declining, but maybe not the best draft for safeties. Maybe not, as we'll take a look here, and hopefully we can actually find an offensive line scout this season. That would be extremely helpful. A couple of good corners in this draft, though. It's not the worst start to the scouting campaign that I have ever seen. With that, the 2-0 Bills head down to Miami to play the 1-1 Dolphins. Let's do this. We have an early bye week this season, too. A 10 overall point advantage. Let's see what we can do. I'm hopeful. Nice to see McDermott up to a level 10, by the way. But fingers crossed for this game that our defense continues to do as well as they have thus far. I know I'm jinxing it. I know I'm tempting fate by saying it. But the defense, of course, it's no secret, has been our Achilles heel over the past couple of seasons, despite having some very strong ratings. But with the development of someone like a Clayton Malone, with as many tools as we have, like our defense is stacked. And then you look again at the offensive weaponry. We are just such a well-rounded team. But we might be 2-0. No guarantees of a victory this week. We need to get off to a good start. So the first quarter we go, Miami puts up a touchdown on the opening drive. We respond in kind. So we're marching down the field. It's 7-all through the first 15 minutes. It was a 3-yard rushing touchdown for Alex Collins. Not to be outdone, Kawangio with another touchdown, 3 for 3. An 8-yard reception there. Tied this one up. To halftime we go. We start off with a field goal. They match it. We get another field goal. They one-up us on that front, 17-13 Miami at halftime. The difference maker right now is a 7-yard pass to Micah Pickens from Evan Stafford. Need to get back into this one. Let's see if the offense can get going. 20-17, 24-20 now for the Dolphins, and they're driving. So, not ideal. 51-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. The fact that he can just pull those runs out of thin air is amazing, but we need to stop here. Hopefully we can get it, and we didn't. So it's 31-20. The defense, right as we begin to praise them, are struggling. Can we get anything going here? Oh my goodness, can we? What the hell? 66-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. Good Lord. Good Lord. Again, the fact that he is capable of that is ridiculous. 2 50-plus yard rushing touchdowns for Kareem Hunt in this game. It's a 3-point game. Good Lord. And a 2-point conversion was good, too. I think we made the right choice going for Kareem Hunt as Miami is stopped. Kai Forbath misses a 57-yarder. That will give us the opportunity to get back into this. And can we? Yes, we can. That was another very quick drive. It's a 9-yard touchdown pass to Kareem Hunt. You can't stop him. Oh, my God. There was also a 22-yard reception for Kawangio. 4-point game. Solid comeback. 15 unanswered points. Ridiculous. Let's go change of possession again. Miami is able to get a field goal on the drive. 1-point game right now. A 57-yarder for Forbath. And let's see. Squeaky chair. Oh, boy. Well, Bobby McCain with an interception. That's going to put the pressure on. That's not good. That's not good. We had a chance to maybe march downfield and wind out the clock. They're in field goal range. Ryan Shazier on 3rd down. Intercepts it right back. I know it says for 72 yards. Technically, though, we're on our 23. It's a 1-point game with 3:11 to go, and we have just gotten the ball back. That is a huge play. Hopefully, we can get some yardage here or wind down the clock. Kareem Hunt gives us the first down. Ask him we shall receive. For some reason, it's replaying the same thing. Stemke takes a penalty. Not ideal. And Kang winding down the clock. 2nd and 14. Hopefully, Kareem Hunt's not hurt. 3rd and 10. Kareem Hunt might be hurt. We have wasted all of Miami's timeouts. They have 46 seconds to try and march downfield and get into field goal range. Can we stop them? Stafford throws it away on 1st. 2nd down, 22 yards for Pickens, but the clock was running. 26 yards for Parker, but they're out of time. The Buffalo Bills come back to win it 35-34 to continue on their perfect run to begin the season. That was close. A 4th quarter comeback and subsequent defensive shutdown. 15-10 in the 4th quarter. 35-34 is your final. What a game. However, the question is whether or not Kareem Hunt is hurt, because that completely changes the situation. We'll find out. But first, Hanson Erickson, 19 of 29, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns in his first pick of the season. Moment of truth here. Kareem's not hurt. If he was, it was just for the game. 23 attempts, 200 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns, averaged 8.6 yards per carry. And in fairness, Rico and Kang had a pretty strong performance too at 3.1 per carry. Receiving-wise, Kawangio killed it. He and Kareem Hunt with the receiving touchdowns in this game. Blocking-wise, not a single sack allowed. Defensively, Shazier and Jordan Poyer led the way, double digits in terms of tackles. Sacks, you had Malone and Shazier get to him once. Ryan Shazier, of course, with that big-time interception that saved the day. That saved the day. That interception from Shazier allowed us to wind down the clock, get them to waste their timeouts, and they just ran out of time. There were 2 big completions for the Dolphins, but it was too little, too late. We are a perfect 3-0. There is an injury, though. Is this going to be Kareem Hunt? It's not. It's Tre'Davious White, and he's out for 7 weeks. That is not what I was expecting. A broken collarbone for Tre'Davious White. He's out for 7 weeks, and that is a problem. We might have to make a move here. That's a problem. We're 3-0 on the season, but our best defensive player is out. We have Artie Burns, Hilton, and Turner. Do I want to rely on Turner and Pete to play a little bit more? Is the question I don't think I do. I think I want to go out and try and get a game changer to substitute. I'm not a fan of having an 85 overall be our best corner. I'm just not. We'll discuss that in a moment, though, because this is the bye week. Shazier was Defensive Player of the Week. Deshaun Watson bounced back in a big-time way for Houston. We do have upgrades, and of course we had negotiations and scouting. Nate Potter and Marcus Simon both improving. Potter is pretty one-dimensional as a run stopper. Pretty one-dimensional. That's the question, is do we want to make him a little bit more well-rounded? Zone coverage, man coverage. So, I mean, speed rusher. Maybe make him better in the pass coverage. I mean, he's always going to be a depth option. So, there we go. It's not bad. +3 to zone coverage. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. And then Marcus Simon as well. That's the big question, is do we go out and try to get another major game changer? I'm going to make Simon better in run support just to have him be a little bit more well-rounded. I don't know if I want to trust some of the younger guys that we have to get the job done. We could, but every game counts here. And it might not be the worst idea to go out and get somebody better. Let's see if we can get this deal done with Gardner Johnson. We're going to be paying him close to $8 million a season, or at least in terms of cap hits. There we go. Chauncey's back. And then Jake Elliott as well. I'll look to pay a little bit more. He's worth it. I'd rather have an elite kicker. There we go. All right, cool. So they're taken care of. Shazier, Artie Burns, Stemke. We got some big contracts to worry about this year too. So that's actually an interesting topic of discussion, because we need to worry about who we might potentially bring in to replace the injured Tre'Davious White, because if they make too much money, that could be an issue for us. That could be a big-time issue for us. So I'm going to just continue to scout out pretty much everybody in the secondary here, even if they're not that great. Let's get a full report. Yeah, like Harris Walton, I definitely should have just stopped on the second I saw that D in play recognition, but what are you going to do? So here's the issue, right? Is I could go out, I could cut that extra wide receiver that we have in terms of kick return and look to bring in a corner. How much would we have to give up to do that, though? Do I want to trust Burns, Hilton, and it would be Cordell Turner that really has to step up? Normal development for him. Let's take a look at the ratings. He's about to improve, too. Man coverage is solid. Zone coverage, not so much. And then Morgan Pete as well is also normal developments. That's a real tough one. That's a real tough one, because I should be able to use draft picks to bring in somebody better. But how much better? Again, Turner's a 77. In terms of bringing in someone like, even like a Tre'Davious White level wouldn't happen. Like William Jackson on the Bengals, but he gets paid a lot, and I'd have to make sure he has 1 year left. So like a William Jackson, for example, in Cincy, I wish there was an easier way to see how much time he has left on his deal. If we were to go contracts, 2 years left, so it's like, yeah, that wouldn't work. Denzel Ward's going to be way too expensive, so that's not going to happen. Is there anybody else? Fuller? Kendall Fuller? Let's see. Kansas City. How long do you have him for now? Oh, boy. Again, it's kind of tedious. It takes us long. 5 years left. I don't know if we're going to be able to find anybody to fill this role, to be honest. Unless it's like a Hayward who's on an expiring deal, but that's the big thing. Even he has 2 years left. So we could bring in somebody with 2 years left and trade them, but that might cost us in terms of contract negotiations, right? You just saw how many players we have to sign. So I need to be very careful with the cap. I think ideally it would be a player with 1 year left that we just admit, like, okay, he's gone. Like, he's here for the season, but he's 100% gone. He's a rental to make up for the fact that we're a little bit weaker in the corner spot, or in terms of cornerback depth, at least until the midway point of the season, if not beyond it. Again, it's a 7-week injury. Ronald Darby. And in fairness, there might not be anybody that can fill the role. 3 years left for him. we might be stuck. Desmond Trufant. I can't believe he's only 31 at this point. I don't know. In real life, to me, it feels like Desmond Trufant's been dominating freaking for years. Ooh. He's expensive as shit. He's expensive as shit. But it would work in terms of bringing in an elite corner, and not to mention that would certainly improve our chances down the stretch. So, just for the hell of it, let me say I add Jamal Hardy, who they're not going to have interest in. What needs do they have? Quarterback. Hello. Oliveira could be what we need. Right? Who do they have for a backup quarterback? Really? Do you really? I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan's there, but you have Benjamin Harrell. That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean team needs? That's ridiculous. I mean, I'll still try to use it to my advantage. Like, how far away is that? Yeah, that's way too far. So, like, Oliveira for Trufant, right? Yeah, it's not even going to be close. I think Trufant's going to be too good. I mean, I could just go out and then, cut the wide receiver and somebody else to bring in a different quarterback. But, I mean, if I were to do, I don't want to do the second round pick yet. Let me see how close we are. Because then if we're talking about someone even more specific than Trufant, who's on 1 year but isn't as good as he is, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to bring him in. If we go with that extra second, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen because they're looking for positions that we don't necessarily have right now with this roster already being filled out. So if we go 2 second-round picks, yeah. So Desmond Trufant's not going to work. So it has to be someone between like Artie Burns level and not quite a 90. Because Trufant, you would have figured, would have been the perfect guy because of his age. He's going to start declining soon if he's not already. So that's a tough one. 1 year left for Tavon Young on the Giants. This might work. What do the Giants need? Defensive help, basically. So that's not ideal that they need defensive help, and I'm going to be looking for someone, to give up defensively here. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to trust it. In terms of having the depth to give up, we don't. I mean, we do, but we don't. At least we don't want to. I don't want to. Like, we could give up a Ripkowski. We're going to trust the guys that we have. It might hurt, but based off of, even if like a Young is that far away, even with the second round picks, it's not going to help. If he's that far away, then it is what it is. So the good thing is we had that bye week, and that'll help us out significantly. So we'll see. Shazier and Artie Burns. Now Shazier at 29, 4-year deal. That's actually not bad. He's looking for a pretty cheap deal. Will he accept that initial offer? Perfect. All right, Shazier's back for nothing. He won't be here for the full contract length, but still. And Artie Burns? All right, Artie Burns wants a little bit of a raise, but that's okay. That is okay. So scouting college players. We'll move over to safety. Of course, there weren't that many players at safety that were worth it. Corner, just to double check. Yeah, we had everybody. Okay, so free safety at least. It's not looking too good this year. I'm at least going to scout everybody. Oh, okay, I really need to just stop doing that for the 7th round. I'm wasting points. But it's more of, well, I know I really should start getting to be more. You know what? I need to stop half-assing this. I do. I need to stop half-assing it. I've wasted a decent amount of points, admittedly, on the first set. Corners are interesting. The safeties are interesting in that way, though, too. But yeah, I wasted some points that I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. That's me being lazy and half-assing it, not wanting to be patient. I can admit that. It's my fault. If we fuck up this draft, 100% my fault. I'm sorry. That said, let's get down to what will be the last game of this episode. We're going to try to keep our perfect run alive, playing a division rival in the 1-3 New York Jets. We have a 9 overall point advantage on Monday prime time. Let's do this, as I definitely didn't just punch a can of Arnold Palmer across the room. Not even across the room. It was across the desk. So see, technically, I didn't lie to you. I didn't lie. I already regret my lack of patience and paying attention with the scouting there. That was dumb. That was very, very dumb, especially with how many of the D letter grades we've seen among the secondary. That's a bad call. That's what happens, though. Your team starts to do well, and then you're like, oh, shit, well, I don't have to worry about drafting as much. It's like, no, you do. You do. I need to pay attention more. I know. It's just laziness. Let's get down to it. See if we can beat the Jets. They start off with a touchdown. 2 touchdowns. The New York Jets have come to play. We will start off the second, though, on their 4. It's 1st and goal, and we do get a touchdown in response. 14-7 still. Will it hold? Yes, it will. So 14-7 at halftime. We did well defensively to shut them down. It was a 4-yard touchdown pass for Kawangio. He's 4 for 4. Gotta love it. Let's go through the third, and the Jets start off with another touchdown. We are really missing Tre'Davious White. 28-10. The New York Jets have come to play. Holy hell. Do we have another comeback on the cards? 31-10. We just have not shown up for this game. That is rough. We do march down the field, but we throw it away on 4th down. We're done. We are toast in this game. They march down 38-10. And you want to talk about Houston getting a reality check? Here's our reality check. We just let the Jets come into New Era Field and absolutely stomp us. 38-10. The worst performance of the season by far. Our first loss in really one of our worst performances in the past few seasons. 15 of 34, 178, 1-1. Kareem Hunt held to just 58 yards on 18 attempts. Receiving-wise, you had Kawangio, only 2 receptions for 10 yards. Blocking-wise, a miserable day for the offensive line. Defensively, Gardner Johnson led the way. We did get to the quarterback a lot, and Shazier had another interception. But just not good. Jake Elliott missed a field goal. It was pretty much irrelevant by the end of it. But you want to talk about a reality check. Our undefeated start to the season is over. Holy upgrade points. Our undefeated start to the season is over. Was that down to us missing Tre'Davious White to that extent? Was it just a poor performance? Like, what do you blame? Where do you point the finger in that regard to why we struggled to that extent? Clayton Malone up to an 84. God, what a find this guy was. What a find he was. And then Tremaine Edmonds. Wait, did I already not upgrade Tremaine Edmonds? Shit. Holy hell. It's still showing Malone. But there we go. We'll make Tremaine Edmonds better too. It's a hell of a glitch. Fine by me. And then Cordell Turner as well. So 4 players improving. We'll make Turner better in terms of man-to-man defense, especially as he'll continue to play. You have to wonder what that comes down to. What does that come down to? Who do we blame for the outcome of that poor performance? We fall to 3-1 on the season. We do have some negotiations to handle. It is Artie Burns again. See if we can sort this out. Give you a little bit more money, Artie. What do you think? Damn, still wants a little bit more. That's okay. That's okay. He's worth it. He's still looking for a relatively cheap deal. And then scouting-wise, we'll finish up scouting the safeties. So I think about time I see any D grades, even the C grade guys. Yeah, we're gonna need B grade. Wow. So even Cedric Cole is pretty brutal. That is not a good sign for the rest of these players. Wow. Okay, so not a good draft in terms of the secondary whatsoever. Todd Ackerman, Simon Zinger, 4th round punter, huh? Damn. So we will move to quarterbacks next, perhaps. Again, we'll do the same thing we always do. We'll scout the first round talents, and if anybody slips, we'll draft them later on, which is what we did in this past draft. So Garrett, thank you, but boy, it was a terrible, terrible class. Do we have a quarterback scout? We do not. We do have a running back scout, though. Haywood Schnupp will be signed for the moment. Again, for running backs, it's the same thing. It's at least worth checking the top talent, and if they fall, scoop them up and look to move them later on. Hitting the wrong trigger there is always fun. Hello, Drew Campion. Looking pretty good. Andrew Harmon as well. Take a look later on. We still got a lot of work to do in the scouting department. The big thing here, though, is definitely what we look to do in terms of corner help. It might be worth looking again. Josh Allen's a free agent. Oh my God, I feel so bad. If we move our quarterback that we drafted, we could bring in Josh Allen as our backup. He's looking for a shitload of money. But we could do it. There's no better corners on the open markets. It's a tough call. But using this backup quarterback that we have to make this happen should be possible. So you know what? We're gonna use him as the trade bait here. So any team that's actually interested in him, is there anybody in terms of green? Or is it all just yellow? It's all just gonna be yellow, huh? That doesn't help. Chicago's interested, but we know that they don't have anybody that we necessarily need, so we're not going to be able to use him as a major bartering piece. Jalen Ramsey, I mean, he's going to be way too expensive. Jalen Mills, however, it'd be nice to get you away from the Jets, that's for sure. 3 years left, not going to happen. What about Mike Hughes? What about Mike Hughes? Can we look to get you? No, we cannot. The Lions have Darius Slay. He's going to be too good. Oh, my God. The Lions are brutal. Alexander. What about Kevin King? He's in about that range that we could look to pick up to make the secondary a little bit better. 2 years left. Not going to happen. What about James Bradbury? We'll look. Screw it. We'll look. That way I can show you guys I at least did my due diligence on double-checking for anybody of this caliber. Desmond King might be a bit too much of a stretch in terms of being too valuable, but at least this way you know we tried. Let's take a look. Patrick Peterson at 32. He'd be cheaper to get. He's going to start declining around this age. Contract, 2 years left. Damn. There really isn't anybody here, is there? Saints, like Lattimore's there. Griffin. Jimmy Smith at 34. Again, someone else who'd be very cheap to pick up, but could still do the job for us. Let's try to get Jimmy Smith. Like, how close is that by default? We might be able to make that work with draft picks. We might. Again, I know they need linebacker help, but I really like the amount of linebacker depth that we have. I don't really want to give up Harvey or Ripkowski. So let's see. If we throw in a third-round pick along with Oliveira, yeah, we're going to be able to do this. So I guess Jimmy Smith is going to be the guy. We'll use a third and a seventh along with Oliveira. Might have to use a sixth, maybe even a fifth. But we do have the extra picks thanks to trading down. Might take a higher rate. Was that the highest rated sixth? I don't know if it was. Let's try it. Have to go with a higher rated third, I guess. A third, a sixth, and Oliveira for Jimmy Smith. I'll take it. So with that, Josh Allen will be back on the team. What I'm going to do is go and release that extra wide receiver, Jamal Hardy. Just go ahead and cut him, free up a little bit of cap. It's not a big deal. And we'll bring in Josh Allen as our backup quarterback for the rest of the season. So there you go. Allen's return to Buffalo. You're going to have to pay him a shitload. I don't think it'll affect negotiations that heavily, and if it does, I release him and bring in an absolute nobody. But, yeah, that change has been made, and we at least have a better corner on the team now. So there you go. Josh Allen, welcome aboard. Wide receiver-wise, we'll just say have Neal, just in case. And in terms of the defense, it's now Jimmy Smith as the second guy. So that's not bad. Mike Hilton will be our fourth option at corner later on this season. So we're going to have a decent amount of depth there. Reynolds, Von Key, Savage. You know what? I do really want to... I mean, Reynolds isn't that bad. I do want to develop Savage even more, though. But he does get playing time, at least, in more receiver-heavy sets. So I think we're okay. We end up making that change, trying to... And again, maybe that is just me panicking due to the fact that I didn't make a change, and then we get steamrolled by the Jets at home. But you got to do what you got to do, just to be careful. We end up bringing in Jimmy Smith. We get rid of that quarterback that we drafted. Josh Allen has been brought back as the backup. That's what we drafted that quarterback for, to either be someone to potentially replace Hanson Erickson and then use him to go out and get somebody better. We used the quarterback in the way that we thought we would. We're up to an 88 rated team. We're 3-1. to start the year. Things are looking okay still, but we have a long, long way to go this season. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate the continued support on this series. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, bells, comments. Check out everything in the description. All that happy horse shit. And I will see you guys in the next one, where we continue on and play the Patriots twice.